Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Genesis House and the Friends in Recovery podcast are proud to bring you Answering the Call, the First Responders podcast. Join your hosts as they address the real issues of first responders' health and wellness, from physical and mental health to relationships and work-life balance. Answering the Call, the First Responders podcast is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube, as well as iHeartRadio, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your friends in recovery answering the call.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Answering the Call, the First Responders podcast. I am the podfather, Mike Miles, and here with Jersey Ed.
Oh, what am I doing here? Hey, whoa, this isn't Friends in Recovery. Right. Wow, hey, I'm a guest today, I guess.
You are. You're my guest.
What's up, Podfather?
Who knows more about policing than you?
Yeah, I know the other side of policing. I know what not to do.
Okay. Me too, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So,
good to
hey,
see you.
It's good to be on the show, Mike, Podfather, and I'm glad we were able to do this. Hopefully this will be more of a regular thing. I enjoy doing this show, and I've been watching a lot of your solo shows, and I'm telling you, Podfather, I'm kind of envious of you watching it. Like, how does this guy doing all that, not reading, but just going off? And I'm doing my own show because we got our shows because it's easier for us to do. I do my own show. I'm like, how do I do this by myself? And you just blasted off like 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes. I'm like, a good topic. So thanks. And if you guys, if you go listen to a couple of shows back before we took our break, you'll know what I'm talking about. So,
yeah. Well, the break, it's been a 4-week break, and we really needed it. I know I did. We all got a lot going on. You have a lot going on. I have a lot going on, but what's important is, excuse me, we do this because we want to do it. We enjoy doing it. We don't get paid to do it. We do it to help. And that's what we are. We're helpers. We help people. But I got to be honest. I really needed that month off. I was getting stale. I watched a couple of the last podcasts, and I was like ashamed of myself. I'm like sitting in my underwear in my bedroom. I have no backdrop or nothing. I'm like, boy, talk about letting it slide. But I'm glad we decided to get together and do one today because it's something you don't want to let go of. I've had people contact me, and I'm sure you do too, that really appreciate the Friends in Recovery podcast, which has been going on for over 3 years now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost 4 years now. It'll be 4 years right. Next. Yeah, almost 4. Yeah, 3.5 years.
And the Answering the Call has been a good 2.5 years. And
yeah.
So it's good. But I know you're busy. You're moving. You got a lot going on. The family's good. Everyone's good.
Everybody's good. Can't complain, and Mike, I'm sober. That's the main thing.
Yes.
And everything else falls around that. And I know this isn't Friends in Recovery, but this is a part of health and wellness for first responders. And I'm sure we have a lot of people out there that listen that are in recovery, but if I'm not staying sober, I'm not, or if I'm not thinking sober minded, if I'm not thinking soberly, I guess. And then I'll be that guy again, running from the cops again, all those years ago. That's so, right. But yeah.
But I think for me personally, I've been reading the paper a lot lately. I like the paper. I like the newspaper. I buy a New York paper and I buy a Boston paper, and I read them.
Oh, you cops like the paper. Yeah. I always see a cop reading the fucking paper. I don't know why, but
can use it. I used to just read the sports, but now I don't even read the sports. I love the New York Post because it's got great pictures. Number one, there's always some glamour girls and bikinis, and negligees, right on the front page. But and that sells the paper. But no, there's some good stuff in the post, politics, and then of course on policing. And I was just telling you earlier, there's a young girl missing out in the Midwest. Her and her boyfriend went on a month-long journey, and he's not speaking to the police. They can't find her. He's a suspect, a person of interest, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was doing last night, I was reading the Post when I got home from work, and I noticed that they were using excerpts of a police officer's police report, and I thought to myself, "My goodness, this cop writes like a novelist. His words, his choice of words." What he's observed, the information he's getting. But it was so interesting. As somebody who reads every day, I was like, wow, this kid is a great writer. And he's just a patrolman. And I was thinking, boy, policing has really changed. When I was a cop, 1980, I started, we went from, everything was paper. The warrants were on paper. All our reports were handwritten in the cruiser. As soon as an event happened or an incident happened, we had incident reports, accident reports, arrest reports. Everything was handwritten, and you had to have it done by the end of your shift, or you stayed later and finished it. Nowadays, everything's on computers. Everything's on
computer. Yeah,
right. There's no more, even tickets, even parking tickets. Everything's done on a computer. But the intelligence.
Oh, no, not true, because I just got a parking ticket in Cape May, New Jersey. So if you're any Cape May cops, will listen if you can get me out of. No, I'm just kidding. Right. But I did. It was, and I was, and this goes inside what we're talking about. It was handwritten, so I was a little like, wow, that's a little weird. Because not that I get a lot of tickets, but when you get a parking ticket here, they're usually printed out. So
nobody's happy getting one of them. That's for sure.
I know. I'll go pay it. So,
but this cop's his synopsis of the incident that's going on with this missing girl. Just the way he writes, though, it just amazed me. I'm like, wow, this kid must have a degree. He must have taken a writing course or something. But so much has changed in policing, and it continues to change. And it's a continual struggle between defunding the police. Giving, and if you say defund the police, I think it's horrible. Even if you want to take money out of the budget, you got to change the title of that. You definitely have to change the title. You can't be putting that out there and having society go, "Well, that's a great idea."
Yeah.
Taking away right now, Minnesota is looking at the county where George Floyd was killed. They're looking at changing their methods of policing. They're getting social workers involved. They're doing a lot of different things. Hey, I'm all on board. I am a social worker too. I'm all on board. Anything that's going to make society safer, but. I don't think taking away large chunks of money and replacing armed police officers with social workers is a great idea, especially where the bad guys aren't changing their plans. You know what I mean? The bad guys and bad girls, they're not defunding themselves.
No. But Mike, I've been hearing a lot about that. A friend of ours down in DC, she said they're down. Beverly.
Right.
Right. Yeah, she's a good friend of the show. She said that they're down 200 cops and not hiring anybody.
Wow.
I mean, that's DC. That's our nation's capital where all kinds of crap goes on. And then I don't think we're gonna have to defund the police, because if you think about it, who the hell wants to be a cop now?
Nobody.
Nobody does. Nobody's going. And here's the problem: the standards that you guys, you and all of our listeners were at is way up here. To become a cop, you had to be at your highest peak mentally, physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. Right. Now that we're not having, now that the cops don't want to be cops anymore, and people are quitting in droves, and people don't want to sign up, guess what they're going to do? The standard from here is going to go to here, So you think it's going to get better because of all this shit? It's going to get worse. That's my opinion anyway.
No, I agree. And I really think, I just can go back to the 70s when New York City was having trouble with, corruption with cops and everything. And they formed a commission, the Knapp Commission. And the Knapp Commission did this extensive study on why cops were taking graft, why cops were doing bad things. And what they found out was, one, they weren't educated, and two, they weren't making a lot of money. So they figured, well, we'll let cops get educated, we'll pay them more. We'll
Yeah.
help pay for their education, and we're going to pay them more money so they won't be tempted to take graft. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't just graft either. They were looking the other way in many things that
Yeah.
were going on, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think nowadays the money is good. The job itself is still a dangerous job. There's no doubt, but it can be a rewarding job too. You can help people out. The good news about being old, Ed, being 67 years old and had been a cop for 35 years, and now that I'm an old man, I meet people that are adults that were young kids when in my district where I worked. I remember some of the acts of kindness, the homework study program, the off-street art program, where they were instead of doing graffiti, we were paying them and helping them with scholarships to come show us your artistic talent, you know. All different programs, loan-a-phone program for domestic abuse, you know, to be involved in all that and to help these kids now that are adults, they remember those acts of kindness, you know. And I'm glad.
Well, some of those kids, Mike, they didn't even have an adult figure in their life, I'm sure, you know. I mean, you know, and the police and, you know, the police were that figure to them, and now we want to defund them. I mean, I don't get it. And I know we're off the topic a little bit about, you know, about doing, you know, about the changing. Well, it's changing in police and policing.
Well, that's part of the change.
Yeah,
you can't find enough candidates now. Years ago, when they had a police exam every year and a firefighter's exam, there'd be thousands. There'd be literally, they'd have to have it for 2 days of testing. Now there's not thousands, there's hundreds, but you know, and again, the quality, I just had a call from a local police department doing a background check on a young man who used me as a reference. And I gave him 5 stars because he deserves it. This kid speaks 2 languages. He's Latino. He's got a child that's special needs. He cares more about that child than he does about anything. And he's a great husband, and he's a correctional officer, but he wants to go to be a police officer. And the cop doing the background check said, you know what's amazing, Mike? I've talked to 11 people and everybody's given him 5 stars. He says, well, there you go. You know, it shows you the character of him. So I have no doubt this boy's going to get hired and he's going to be a real asset to the community. Actually, it's the town of Drake, where I live, where he's going to be working, you know? And I'm so proud. But I asked the cop doing the background check, are you having a hard time filling these spots? And he said, you have no idea.
Yeah.
One time you'd interview 12 people for 6 jobs and you'd get them out of the 12. Now you're interviewing 50 people for 6 jobs and you're lucky to fill 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Jesus, you know, even I mentioned Cape May. That's where we're at, where I was actually going to dinner the other night when I got the parking ticket. And, you know, down here, they can't find waiters and waitresses. You know, there's empty tables because you know, people are waiting. And, you know, so if we can't find waitresses and waiters that are going to do the job down here, how it can't be, you know, it's going to be even harder to find a cop that's specifically skilled. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with waitress and waiters, but you know, being a cop is a dangerous job, you know, not just anybody. I mean, you know, if you have to go make a living, you can take up being a waiter and waitress, but it takes a certain skill, not even a certain skill, a certain person to be a
certain
cop.
mindset.
Certain mindset. Yeah. And I don't have that. I love being around the first responders communities. And cops are my thing. You know, I just didn't have that, you know, that in me to do what you guys do. And that's, you know, that's, it takes a special skill and a special mindset. Yeah.
Well, the same thing with fire department, you know, like the hiring firefighters, you know, and there's a lot more women that are going. I've seen it right here in Lowell, in the city of Lowell. There's a lot more to being a firefighter than just holding a hose at a fire. I mean, you have to be trained to be a first responder. You got to, you know, administer some types of Narcan or other drugs too. And you have to be fit enough to be able to carry somebody out of a burning building.
Yeah.
You know, think of that. Now, I've been to unbelievable blazes, fires, mill buildings that were built in the 1800s that were oil-soaked floors where you could see for 10 miles, 15 miles, you could see this building all aglow. So I've been to
Boston burn fires.
Right. I that we hit on.
Yeah.
Again, another job that it's changing. You know, the candidates for these jobs are changing. It's not just a white Irish cop, a white Irish firefighter. It's all different. We're in a different society. And there are people that are very capable whether they're 5'2" or 6'2",
Mhm.
you know, and they go for the job and they get it. But again, I see these horrific fires that were occurring out in Ferguson, Missouri, and the firefighters were getting bottles thrown at them. I mean, they're there to save a structure or save a home,
Yeah.
you know, and they're being tortured by these you know, these people, anarchists, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. They had to get the cops had to get them an escort, the fire trucks escort in
Exactly.
to put the fires out.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy world. But
Right
so
now.
this guy in the New York Times that you were talking about, he, you know, I like, you know, I like how you're going with this, is that, you know, you used to handwrite everything versus now because even the skill level of, and I'm not saying you didn't have the skill level, because you did eventually get into it. You know, computers are a huge part of policing and fire and EMS, and even EMS. They are in communication before they even get to the hospital. I was told, I think it was on one of our shows, if you listen back, I forgot who it was, but I was told that on the way to the hospital, EKGs are sent, vitals are sent, information sent. They have the emergency room all set up for exactly what's going on because of computers.
Right.
You didn't have that in your day when you started, right?
No. They throw you in the ambulance and off you'd go. But these EMS workers, again, another job that is so necessary. It's very dangerous because you're going to get from point A to point B. You don't know who you're encountering. You're in uniform. You don't know whether people think you're a cop or whatever. And, you know, again, EMS workers, they save lives. That's what they're there for. You know, and they get people that are combative. They get people that have overdosed. They got to work on. No, it's really a different society now, and for the better, I think, as far as the ability. That report I was reading, that newspaper article I was reading, excerpts of the police officer's report. I was just blown away. What a great writer this officer was. I don't even. They said his or her name. I forget, but I was like just so impressed by the style of writing, and it was almost like I felt like I was there. Like he was describing everything, people he'd interviewed, places he'd been, and I was like, "Wow, what an incredible writer this officer is!" You know. So anyway, I thought that would be a good topic for today's show. And plus, see you, Ed. You know what? I missed you. I really missed doing the project. I miss Skylar. It's you know, this is like a family thing. We were very fortunate. There's a small group that we get together and we do this, and then we have Kyle edit it, and it comes out. The finished product is always good.
It's amazing. And you know, and it's, well, you know what, the best part is of course all of us get together, but the content, the years of experience that you have to go. I mean, listen, what you just said. I went from handwriting reports to writing them on the computer. You've seen it all. That's like going from, like, I don't know, to the rotary phone, to the dial phone, to the cell phone, you know,
from the Flintstones to the jet.
Exactly. But here's the thing, at least it's changing for the better. Listen, we could talk about the Ferguson, Missouri. We could talk about the Minneapolis. We could talk about all that.
Maryland,
there is
all of them.
Exactly. We could
New
talk
York
about
City.
all that. But there's a lot of good stuff going on in policing. There's a lot of good stuff going on in the first responders world. I mean, even our past sponsors, AT&T, FirstNet, they have a specific specific highway for you guys when everything's down for first responders, you know. So there is, you know, we do talk about a lot of bad things and the shitty things in policing and first responders, but there's so many more good things, you know. And you know, so that's you know, that's good. And this you know, and this guy who wrote this report, or this girl who wrote this report, you know, they care about their job. That's somebody who cares about the information that's put in, you know, the information that's going to help this poor girl hopefully get found, or this guy who's not cooperating, cooperate, you know. And you know, that's what my guess on it.
Yeah, it's the first thing on the news every day, because the fact that he's not cooperating, you know, it says a lot. You know, there's two sides to every story, but his lawyer claims he's not speaking because he's a person of interest. But you know, we all know. I mean, logically, listen, you've been with somebody for several years. You go on a 1 month vacation. Obviously, you care about this person. Why wouldn't you? separate.
Exactly.
Right.
Listen, Mike, if me and my wife went on a 1-month vacation, she disappeared, I'd be talking to anybody and everybody. Help me find her, help me get this woman back. This is the person who I want to grow old with. Get her back with me, or she's just a human being, even if they weren't in love or whatever. She's still a human being, it's
Yeah, it's just, and you got to feel for the family. But, the technology, FirstNet, like you said, built by AT&T, there's just a lot of good things that we're missing because of the negative stuff. So it's good to be able to talk about, we still have capable hands that are going to protect us, people that are capable, that are trained, that are looking at policing, firefighting as a career. They're going into it. They're professionals, and they're going to keep it going,
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's some of the plans you have for the show in the future? I was just on a show talking about Friends in Recovery, about some of the future plans. What do you have in store? You have guests? Do you have
I got some guests set up. I definitely I've had a couple of people that wanted to come back on, Tom Fleming being one of them. I have a good friend, Jack Dolan. I think he's been on the show once before. And Jack was one of the first DARE officers up here in Massachusetts, and I figured it'd be good to have him on to talk about what the DARE program was, what it was about, and where that is now, because that's a whole different wax as well. So I got those two coming up. They're going to be guests on the shows.
Good. And and the other thing is that guys, this show is for you guys, for you guys and girls. I say guys because I'm from Jersey, so Jersey Ed, but we say guys. But send us an email, help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com. I'll get the email and I'll pass that along to Mike, and on topics, on anything you want to talk about. If you want to have some feedback, give us some feedback about the show.
If you are a young cop, a firefighter, EMS worker, even a veteran, male, female, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Nationality, nothing matters. All matters if you're in the line of work that has to do with EMS, policing, fire, or even a veteran. Send Ed an email, and we'll have you on the show as a guest.
Yep, exactly. help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com, and we'll get you guys on. Always looking for some good guests also. Absolutely. And good topics. So, Podfather, another great show.
Absolutely.
Just thank you for having me on, and hopefully we can do this a little bit more.
We will.
Yeah. Good.
We definitely will. Yeah. Good seeing you, and Jersey Ed, thanks for everything. And I look forward to doing another podcast with you in the near future.
Likewise. Good.
All right, pal.
You want to take us out?
Yep. Answering the Call, the First Responders Podcast. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
That concludes this episode of Answering the Call, the First Responders Podcast. Thanks to Genesis House for supporting those on the path to recovery and keeping this valuable resource free for all our friends in recovery. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Brought to you by Genesis House and the Friends in Recovery.